Why did you get into education in the first place?
I went to school, didn't realize what I wanted to do. I got into business administration, got out of school and decided that's not really what I wanted to do. And so started subbing and found out this could be the course of my life, and then went back to school, did some graduate assistant work at the University of Findlay and got my degree in education, and got my first job here at the Kenton Middle School.
With Mr. Mann's demonstrating leadership in the school district, it's unbelievable how much he cares for the kids. And so what I see him doing is really taking initiative to be able to go and help those kids even outside of the classroom, outside of his classroom. And it's just unbelievable the way he takes those kids under his wing.
How has he inspired students here?
Mr. Mann's has very, very high expectations for the students. He's fun, he likes to have a good time, but he also expects a lot from students. And I think he makes students raise their level of what they think they can do, their behavior, their attitude, how they work.
Who inspires you?
I work with some great people here at the middle school. And I feel like I'm inspired every single day just working with these guys. They work harder than I do. I feel like I'm inspired by their families. I'm inspired by the way that they hold themselves. Obviously, at home, my wife inspires me every day. She's incredible. So I feel like I'm inspired by not just one person, but the people that I'm surrounded. I feel like I try to learn from everybody, and when they're doing something good, I try to emulate that. If they're doing something not so good, I try not to do that, but there's a lot of people around me that I feel like I'm grateful for.
What's your favorite memory of Mr. Mann's?
Mr. Mann's? Is he a teacher here? My favorite memory of Mr. Mann's is probably when he was a student teacher of mine. I knew quite a bit about him, but he wanted to come into my classroom and be one of my student teachers. But anyway, on a Sunday, he ran the Columbus Marathon. And I think it showed me a lot about his character. And I knew he was going to be a good teacher because, it takes a lot of endurance to be a teacher. It takes a lot of patience. And so I learned a lot about him in that. But a couple days afterwards, he hobbled to work. He was pretty beat up, after that. But I think that's probably my favorite memory, just being able to experience that with him.
Oh, I don't know if I could narrow it down. I'm just very fortunate that with working with him with the cross-country program, we go on a camp out with the high school kids in August to Hocking Hills. And I would say doing that, I've seen parts of that state park that I wouldn't have seen, and getting to spend that 4 days, 5 nights with him is just really neat. It's a way to develop team bonding with the kids, but also as coaches.
What do you think Mr. Mann's would be doing if he wasn't a teacher?
If he wasn't a teacher, I think he would probably work at like Ford or something, working with like robots or something, doing something creatively like he's doing right now.
That's pretty easy. I think he would either be into some youth pastoring or pastoring like his brother Jason does there. That's definitely, I think, maybe a future calling for him. And I know he's in his praise band and he does a lot of stuff at his church. So if he wasn't here daily, I'm pretty sure that would be where he would be.
I feel like I'd probably be in the ministry somewhere. I feel like that's where my life was going at one point, and here I am 17 years later, and so I'm still grateful for being where I am, but I always felt like my life would go a different direction. And so probably that. Now that I'm teaching automation and robotics and design and modeling, I can see myself being in industry somewhere doing some of the things that I'm teaching right now. Never had that knowledge back when I was going through high school and college, and now that I'm in it and teaching it, I could see myself maybe going down that avenue as well.
What do you think about Mr. Mann's?
He's pretty cool. Like in class, if you ever have a question, he'll always be there to answer it. He knows what he's talking about, so.
I think that he's inspiring and he's uplifting.
What do you do to ensure that students excel in your class?
Well, I feel like I have to find out where they are. Kids that may struggle, I try to figure out what, number one, is going to motivate them. Number two, how can I approach this kid so that he gains something from this, but also on the other side of it, kids that are really wired for this kind of stuff, try to give them enrichment activities, give them things that are going to really push them to give them an opportunity to go a little bit further than what they normally would go.